Hey, this is Lahsiv, and today we're going to be comparing the 2DS with the 3DS XL. But you already knew that.
Okay, so the first difference you would expect, it's in the name, is that the 3DS XL has extra large screens. Also, it has 3D functionality and is foldable, whereas the 2DS cannot fold. So, this means that the screens are more vulnerable at all times to damage. So, a case is very necessary. Although that's not such a problem because of its tablet look. So, finding a case for it's really easy. This is a Kindle case and it fits really snugly into here. So, yeah, finding a case for the 2DS isn't a major issue. So, another difference you'll see is that there's a little switch over here to put it on sleep. There we go, it's focused. You hope you can read that. It says sleep. So you would just hit it to one side, and the screens would all turn off, and it would be on sleep, and then hit it off, and then it would be off sleep. Whereas for the 3DS XL, you would have to fold it, and then that would mean it would go on sleep, although you won't see this because you can't see the screen. So what I sometimes have to do is have to open it slightly just to check if the screens are off, or I would slide the volume up high so if it hadn't gone off then I would hear about it. I suppose I should just give it trust. I mean, it has never stayed on when I've done this, but it's just a little thing, paranoid. If it did do that, then that would just mean I'd lose a lot of battery and something's wrong with my system. So now let's look at the volume things, because that's something that's also different. The 2DS one goes in a bit, so it's much harder to accidentally hit it. Whereas the 3DS one, if you can see it, it kind of sticks out. Maybe this angle would be better. So you can kind of see that there are these three lumps, and that's the volume slider which is sticking out. Yeah, that's the best angle, so you can see the volume slider is actually sticking out. There's three lumps. Talking about volume, the 3DS and the 3DS XL has two speakers for stereo sound, whereas the 2DS has only one. Although I don't think this is a major issue, because anyone who wants good sound would plug in good headphones into the headphone slot provided in both consoles. But staying on the subject of sliders, the 3DS and the 3DS XL has a Wi-Fi slider over here, spring-loaded one, so you can turn on and off the Wi-Fi by hitting that slider, whereas the 2DS does not. What you would have to do with the 2DS is you would have to hit the home button and then turn it off from the home, or turn the Wi-Fi on or off via the home screen, or in the case that you're playing a Nintendo DS game, then you would have to learn a special button combination to turn it off during the gameplay. Although I don't own any games where I had to learn that button combination. Talking about button combinations, the button layout is different on the two consoles slightly. The first thing I'll show you, seeing as I'll have to open up the 3DS later, is the L and R buttons are bigger on the 2DS. Although personally for me this has not affected me much. I find them just as comfortable as each other. Also, another thing I find just as comfortable but is different is the 2DS analog stick is flatter and the 3DS one kind of pops out more. And also it's smaller. Something that, just because I was comfortable with the 2DS before I got the 3DS, is the start and select button are over here for the 2DS, and start and select is over here. So sometimes when I'm playing it, I'll reach for the buttons over here and they're not there. So that's just a personal thing that I've grown to be comfortable with. But something I won't like anyway is that the select button's all the way over here. All the way since I've been playing NES, I've always wanted to push the select button with my right thumb. So now it's easier to do it with my left thumb, but I'm just not comfortable with that. I would much more prefer the start and select button to be here. But it's not such a big deal because I never use the select button in any of the games I own. So one big difference that does affect me about the buttons in some sense is when playing a game which uses the stylus heavily, because the 2DS is lighter and it has much more free space over here in which I can hold it. So it's easier to play a stylus heavy game, and especially when I'm lying down and playing it. With this, because it's heavier and there's like this less area over here, it's not very comfortable. The only way I have found comfortable is like this when I'm lying down playing a stylus heavy game. Yeah, this belongs to this one, and the stylus is over here, so the stylus positioning is similar as well, unlike the 3DS one. The last thing I want to talk about, because I'm not 100% sure about this, I've looked up online and it's in the manual, but it's just such a ridiculous thing that I'm still iffy about it, is that the 3DS XL does not come with a charger in the PAL region, at least. So, if you have a DSi, a 3DS or a 2DS already, then you could use those chargers, but if you don't, you'd have to get your charger separately. But it seems like such a stupid thing to have for Nintendo to have done. So it's hard for me to believe it's true, but it seems as if it is.
So now it's time for you to decide. Which one do you prefer? The 2DS or the 3DS XL? Personally, I like the big screens and the 3D functionality way too much of the 3DS XL to not choose this one. Anyway, I mainly made this video to help anyone deciding whether they want to buy the 2DS or fork out a little bit more cash to buy the 3DS XL. So if you're in that position, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you next time.